Hey, folks, thanks so much for checking into the Neutral Zone Hotel. We're a podcast that will explore hockey at its best and worst. And, folks, we will never, ever refuse to be pulled from the net if we are invited to by our coach. We promise. I'm joined today, my name's Benjamin. My pronouns are he, him. And I'm joined today by Madison.
Hi, I'm Madison. I'm hiding in the hallway. I don't want to be called in, but my pronouns are she, they.
There we go. And we've also got SJ.
Hi, I am SJ. My pronouns are they, them, and I'm actually trying to push Bennington out of the net because I want it so badly.
The duality.
The duality of goaltending. Do you hide in the hallway so Bennington can't be pulled, or do you just refuse to leave? What do you think the actual deal was with that, Madison?
I don't know. I think the one possibility is that they just couldn't find the replacement, so Bennington had to stay out. I think maybe Bennington is bullying Hiller and he didn't feel safe being put back out there. Who's to say? Whatever the image of the goalie mask peeking out from behind the hallway is pretty incredible, though.
I heard that Hofer was just like literally not ready to play, and that's why he was hiding in the hallway. And so then Bennington couldn't come out.
Oh, but he was the legitimate backup. How are you not ready to play in that
that's
case?
so confusing.
I'm wondering if he had a Roberto Luongo moment.
It's possible.
For those of you who don't know what a Roberto Luongo moment is, there was a moment, I think it was the playoffs, he was with Vancouver. If Trevor was here, he'd know. But basically, Luongo couldn't come out for the start of an overtime period because he was having a big old dump. And he had a flu or something similar. So, although it is kind of funny to imagine like a little porta potty right there, and Hofer's just like looking around the corner. No, don't like, call me in. I'm pooping. Don't call for me.
Leave me alone.
All right. That was a silly thing that happened this week. But let's get into something we wanted to talk about for a couple weeks, but has been sitting on the back burner. So one of the things that we think is very important on this show is to look at the relations between players and ownership. And over the Christmas season, there were 2 new CBAs brought into the North American hockey scheme, one for the AHL and one for the ECHL. So for those who don't know, the AHL is the second tier of North American hockey, and the ECHL is the third tier. Most, if not all, teams are affiliated upwards, so affiliated with an ECHL team, affiliated with an AHL and NHL team, as well as back and forth for the AHL. And the theory there, of course, is you can send your players somewhere to play if they're not playing for your NHL team. SJ, you've done a little bit of reading on this. Do you want to walk us through the details?
Yeah, sure. So the ECHL and the AHL both are represented by the PHPA, Professional Hockey Players Association. This is a different union than the NHL union. And they do share a union. There was really the AHL deal. Okay, so both leagues have been playing this entire season without new CBAs. The CBA had lapsed over the summer, but there was no strike. There was no strike and there was no lockout. They just continued to play under the terms of the old CBA, but with the understanding that they would get those deals done this season. The deal with the AHL was not contentious at all. It was kind of moved along maybe on a little later schedule than they had wanted, but it was always going to get done, and there was really no concerns. The deal with the ECHL, however, was much more contentious. So that is that, the third tier league, the players make, $20,000 maybe. Yeah, that's not distracting at all. I can see Benjamin watching a game in the background here. So they don't make a ton of money. Most ECHL players work summer jobs. They only get paid for 6 months of the year. Although they do get paid on a weekly basis if they play in the playoffs. So it's really not a way that you're going to make a ton of money. A lot of players actually make more money at their summer jobs than they do playing in the ECHL. And about 25% of ECHL players are actually under AHL contract and 8% are under NHL contract. So they get the benefits of those higher paying contracts. But that leaves the vast majority of the league entirely subject to the ECHL level contracts, which they don't pay a lot of money. And it does also leave the entirety of the league subject to the terms of the ECHL season and travel arrangements. So the real contentious part of the ECHL deal was not the money. The owners were happy to offer them a 20% raise, which was about $4,000 a year, so not a lot. But what they were really fighting for, the players in this case, was better travel conditions, better equipment. Their teams would issue them used equipment. They would play 3 games in 3 nights with travel. They would be asked to travel, 500 miles on 2-seater buses and then play a game the next day. It was really tough situation. There are also veteran player limits in the ECHL and the AHL that are intended to protect those leagues as development leagues. So the average player age in the ECHL is 23.
Wow, I didn't know it was that young.
Yeah, that's surprising.
Yeah, it's quite a young league, and a big reason for that is that the veteran players go to Europe. If they're any good, they can make better money and far better conditions playing in, the Finnish league, the Swiss league, the Swedish league. Many players, they'll even go to the KHL, which is, I mean, that's a choice in these days, maybe a less popular choice than it has been, but the conditions and the pay are still far better. So the primary folks negotiating this new ECHL CBA were really interested in making things better for the next generation. Their primary negotiator was a player who had actually just retired. And he wanted to see more North American players actually have the option to stay in North America and make, maybe not a great money, but like reasonable money and reasonable living conditions in the ECHL. Although, speaking of living conditions, they do provide housing, but they don't provide that in the off season. And they didn't provide health insurance in the off season either. So let me see if I can bring up this list. And I really want to shout out, I'm working off of the articles written by James Myrtle in The Athletic here. So I do highly recommend checking out those articles if you want more details on this.
One of the details that I noticed in those that was really interesting is ECHL attendance is very high, over 5,000 average right now, which is that's a historical high point in a lot of ways. So this is not a league that is lacking. And they're not selling tickets for $300 a pop, but this is not a league that is lacking money. And as we have seen, and we've recorded some stuff for the NHL union boss, Alan Eagleson expose. But as we've seen in that, and we talk about in this, these leagues are not broke. And they pretend, but they are not broke. And this is one of the many, many pieces of evidence towards that fact.
Yeah, the vast majority of AHL clubs are owned by NHL teams. Mm-hmm. I think there are only 11 or 12 out of the 32 AHL clubs that are not owned by NHL teams. And the teams that aren't owned by them are run by their NHL affiliate teams. Even the Chicago Wolves are now entirely run by the Hurricanes front office people. They lost that fight. Yeah,
as we found out when they signed Chucklefuck from the Hockey Canada thing.
The ECHL teams are a little bit more independent of their affiliates, but they are often owned by other sports billionaires, and a lot of billionaires or guys who want to be more involved and get a foot in the door to NHL team ownership will buy ECHL teams as a way to establish relationships in the hockey world and kind of work their way into NHL ownership.
This is how Michael Andlauer did it. Mm-hmm. The current owner of the Senators, he purchased as a minority owner, he purchased into the Habs AHL team, and then he sold that team to the Habs, got a percentage of the Habs with it, bought an OHL team with the money, sold it to Zach Hyman's family when he got into the NHL. But it's a way of making it known to the NHL Board of Governors that you are interested in ownership and to get a track record of positive ownership.
Yeah, that's right. The ECHL is also expanding to 32 teams. Right now there are 30. And so very soon, every ECHL team will have an affiliation with an AHL and NHL club. Okay, so as part of the new deal, the ECHL will have a health and safety committee modeled after the NHL's, giving players input into next year's schedule in order to help ease difficult travel conditions. The new CBA also includes a limit of 325 miles between back-to-back games and mandates a set day off every week, similar to what NHL and AHL players receive. ECHL players will also now be able to become free agents after 190 games in the league and will receive compensation for being part of commercial appearances, something that wasn't the case in the past.
Wait, they weren't free. There was no free agency?
Well, I'm not sure what the old free agency rules were, but I think they owned their rights longer. It's not... It doesn't say in this article. The AHL changes also include the introduction of an hourly rate for commercial appearances. So that was clearly something the PHPA was looking for in both leagues. There's also a new qualifying offer system in the AHL as well for under 26-year-old first-year AHL contracted players, where they will be eligible to receive a one-year qualifying offer for a second season at 110% of the prior salary. They also added provisions so that they can be bought out. AHL players can now be bought out in the off-season. Both leagues also received pay raises. Not huge, but significant. A lot more of the AHL is actually subject to their NHL contract terms. So those remain unchanged. The NHL players, even under two-way NHL contracts, tend to make much, much more than the AHL minimum. There are AHL that's making like $300,000 or $400,000 on their AHL contract. That's not super unusual. there's not usually a ton of those guys per team, maybe one or two, but definitely the NHL teams put a real value on having certain players in the room in these development organizations. Many of the ECHL player gains aren't really about bottom lines. It's about the fact that they're going to have access to health insurance in the off season. It's about better conditions, just being able to take care of their bodies, being able to continue playing in a league where they can make it to the NHL. Every season, there are guys who play in the NHL who had their start either maybe they were undrafted. There are a ton of goalies who play full seasons in the ECHL who will eventually make it. It is a primary pipeline for goalie development, especially in this world previous to goalies being able to play in the NCAA if they were coming out of the Canadian junior system. A lot of those guys went right from juniors to the ECHLs and had to work their way up through these development organizations. It's really tough to kind of continue chasing that dream when you're just getting absolutely hammered by 20-hour bus rides. Where you can't sleep, you can't stretch out. It's just really tough. So I don't think we mentioned this before as well, but the ECHL negotiations were very contentious. There was a strike over the Christmas holidays. They did have to go on strike. 41 games were postponed during that time. And the ownership did fold. The strike worked. They got what they wanted out of it. So I'm really happy to see this. I would like to see them make more money. I understand why they weren't pushing for that, and I'm hopeful that this does materially improve conditions around the league.
The health insurance alone, it's kind of unhinged to me to have any sort of professional sports league where they don't have health insurance in the off season. You don't stop having injuries that you got in season because it's summer. That's that's inhumane to me. It goes beyond just poor working conditions. That feels cruel.
Keep in mind, roughly half the players in the ECHL are Canadian, and they will have better health coverage in the off season. But there are a lot of Americans out there, and supplemental insurance for hockey players is very valuable, even in Canada. I would not want to be. It's not like the Montreal Canadiens rely on the Canadian healthcare system for their athletes, right? So it's not like Sidney Crosby comes up and sees a doctor like I do, even though he is Canadian citizen. So there is value there, but the value is, I think, more for the American portion of that versus the Canadian portion, given their conditions. But in a lot of ways, to me, this is combined with the average age of the league. This sounds like it's a lot of guys are not going to make the big dance, are not going to make the European leagues. They decide they're going to play a few years of pro hockey just to say they did before they go get their real job. Mm-hmm. And I think that's probably why they're willing to sacrifice some money for conditions, because at the end of it, if you can play those few years of pro hockey so you can tell everyone for the rest of your life you were a pro hockey player, but you come out of it on the other side with a body that functions, that doesn't have as many hard miles on it, I think there's a lot of value to that in your long-term prospects, both from an employment and just from a quality of life perspective.
Absolutely.
And like we said, ownership can afford it. Ownership can afford these things. It's clear they could by how quickly they folded. I
do just want to add, the funniest provision, I thought, for the new AHL deal was that they're going to adopt the NHL NHLPA Performance Enhancing Substance Program, which, one, it's funny that they didn't have a Performance Enhancing Substance Program.
Yes, that raises a lot of questions.
And two, the Performance Enhancing Substance Program in the NHL is a joke.
They get a guy every 2 years or so.
I think it's even rarer than that. And you got to be really stupid.
Well, I mean, as long as you don't get pictures taken of you at a party with literal cocaine everywhere,
Yeah.
you can generally get away with it.
Who among us?
Evgeny Kuznetsov, that's who among us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, don't post the cocaine on your Instagram.
It is snow. I am used to snow from Russia.
I imported it.
I tend to think that the ECHL and the AHL are different beasts. But there are more and more players every day or every year on AHL contracts in the ECHL, which means that they need to protect those players as well.
Yep.
So I think the union has a vested interest in ensuring working conditions are better for players who have a serious hockey career ahead of them. And I think that they are interested in making sure that people who probably don't have a serious hockey career, because it's other than goalies, it's excruciatingly rare for a skater to go from the ECHL to the NHL. Excruciatingly rare. But making sure that those guys have a better quality of life, I think, is valuable to them. So overall, I'm happy they were able to come to agreements. They did have to reschedule some ECHL games, but it sounds like they'll make it work, and hopefully the conditions do feel better.
I really like the provision that they get to, the players are part of the planning of travel. I think that's a big get for them to be able to have someone there who's like, actually, no, that sucks. I've done it. Yeah. I'm not doing it again.
It makes me wonder what's going to happen with some of the teams that are pretty far out, like Trois Rivières, Montreal's ECHL team. That's a long, long way away from anyone. Like Adirondack in Maine, those would be the closest ones. So the Maine Mariners play in Portland, and the Adirondack Thunder play in Glen Falls. I don't know where that is.
I'm reminded, I don't remember if it was an ECHL team or this was a CHL team in St. John where they had to fly them every time, and it was just excruciating. It was like $50,000 every time they had to fly out there.
I think it was an ECHL team because the Trois Rivières team almost folded at the exact same time for similar reasons. Like the Western teams, like you've got Tahoe, Idaho, Utah, Rapid City, and they are very far away from anyone else. Mm-hmm. You know, New Mexico, Allen Americans, they play in Allen, Texas, which looks like it's close to Dallas.
Nothing is close to each other in Texas. Everything in Texas is far away.
Yeah, so there are some pretty significant bus times here, it looks like. I'm curious how they're going to get around it, but I imagine they'll manage.
I mean, it's also worth noting that ECHL teams, they move all the time. They fold all the time. Yeah. It's a pretty unstable league historically. I think it's moving towards more stability, especially, you know, with like guys like, who was it who started the Tahoe Night Monsters? There's some football guy. But like guys like that who are trying to who are moving into these sports leagues and
Tim Tebow.
Yeah, that's it.
What?
Yeah, Tim
he owns
Tebow.
the Tahoe Night Monsters.
He's the minority owner.
Oh, okay. A minority owner.
That's wild. There's like a billboard for him near a weird Christian school by where I live.
He's a weird Christian.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's given a weird speech at the Christian school that had to change its name for being too racist. So, yeah.
Oh, my favorite kind. Also, Chip and Joanna Gaines from Fixer Upper on HGTV own part of it.
Mm.
But the full-time owner is a guy named, the majority owner is a guy named David Hodges, who, if it is the same guy, he was in Evanescence. So
I was gonna say I know that name. Is it really this?
Is it the same guy?
I don't know.
Oh, we'll have to find out and report back next week.
I'm gonna choose to believe it is because it's funnier.
Madison, you should email their PR department. Probably is just Tim Tebow getting those emails directly. I can't see they have a huge front office at Tahoe. The two new teams are the New Mexico Goatheads out of Rio Rancho, New Mexico.
Okay.
The town.
apparently. And the Augusta Pro Hockey Club.
What, in
What a
Maine?
name.
That's the name.
Are they in Maine?
Oh, are they in Maine? No, Augusta,
Okay.
Georgia.
Georgia.
Guess who owns them? Tim Tebow and David Hodges.
Oh, interesting.
They own more than one team?
They're creating a monopoly.
Big things happening in the ECHL with Tim Tebow and that guy from Evanescence.
It looks like they're going to be part of the Zoyer Sports and Entertainment ECHL management piece. So they own a lot of minor league teams across multiple leagues. So they own multiple ECHL teams, including the Charlotte Checkers.
That's an AHL team.
Yeah, that's an AHL team. They own the Jacksonville Icemen. They own the Mobile Pro Hockey Club, which will start up in the SBHL, which we've chatted with some people about that before. Mm-hmm. They own the Fort Myers Mighty Muscles. I mean, that's a name, right? They're a single A affiliate of the Minnesota Twins, and the Gastonia Ghost Peppers.
Oh, yeah.
Sick.
Oh, my God. You need to go look up the Gastonia Ghost Peppers logo right now. That is stupendous. I get the sense that a big part of the Zoyer Sports and Entertainment, a big part of their thing is just having sick logos and selling jerseys to people who will never go watch a game. Because all of them have good logos.
It's worked on me many a time. My dad will go to like a city for a work trip and bring back a bunch of merch from some minor league team that we don't care about because it looks cool.
Yeah, they own a bunch of people in the Upshot League, which is the new WNBA rival that's pulling a WHA to the WNBA, so that's fun. So yeah, I think that's really interesting. One of these days, we're going to do a deep dive into ECHL teams' history, and we're going to have a lot of fun talking about a bunch of dead teams.
I can wear my jersey, or not jersey. I have a sweater from like a team that I think was in Colorado for one season. It was an ECHL team, Denver Cutthroats. They did not last long, but I went to a game.
Delightful.
I mean, I'd go to if there was an ECHL team within 2 hours of me, I'd go. Trois-Rivières a little far.
They're really fun. They're known for being high scoring because they're not particularly high quality players. So they're very exciting games.
I've been to an ECHL game. I went to an Indy Fuel game.
My very first hockey game ever was a Wichita Thunder game.
Sick.
There we go.
This was before they were part of the ECHL, though. I think they were part of a league that doesn't exist anymore. But
well, that happens.
It was so long ago.
It says they were part of the CHL, which is the Central Hockey League, until 2014.
Well, this definitely would have been 2002 or 3. So even further back.
Their logo is really good. The Wichita Thunder logo right now, that is a good logo. I think that whips.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, it's good. I guess if you are kind of a minor league team, you are a little bit more free to modernize your logo regularly. So I think that's kind of cool.
They do a lot of interesting stuff in the minor leagues, like having weird jersey nights where they actually wear them on the ice. And I think they do so much just to push merch.
The Hartford Wolfpack has emo night.
Wow.
They have jerseys and everything. I've thought about it.
Next time you're in Hartford.
A place I've never been, but I've thought about it. Sounds so cool.
Special trip.
Special trip. All right, we should talk about something else for a while. Hey, folks, if you are having a great time, and we thank you so much for hanging out with us, what we'd love for you to do is take a moment to Give us 5 stars on your podcast platform of choice. Thumbs up if you're listening on YouTube. You can subscribe as well. We'd love to have you pop in there. We actually recently had one of our most successful episodes ever. What was it called exactly, SJ?
It's a great butt, and you see a lot of it.
Yeah, so we talked a lot about Connor Story's butt, and apparently that one made a little bit more of an impression. But we'd love to keep making more of an impression. I promise you we'll talk about Heated Rivalry Season 2. We'll probably do a Heated Rivalry recap later on because I finished watching it now. But we're not going to do that this episode, so I apologize. But if you want to hang out with us and talk about Heated Rivalry, you can join our Discord at neutralzonehotel.com/Discord. We are on Bluesky at Neutral Zone Hotel, and we are also on YouTube at Neutral Zone Hotel. So you can find us there as well. We would love to talk to you about all of the hot hockey romance that has literally been taking over the Hashtag Books channel for a solid 2 months. That's not a complaint, just a statement of fact. We'll be right back, folks.
Unfortunately, Dave Hodges, co-owner of the Tahoe Night Monsters, does not appear to be the same person as David Hodges, formerly of Evanescence. Although Evanescence's David Hodges is not co-owner of the Lake Tahoe Night Monsters, he did co-write Kelly Clarkson's songs Because of You and Addicted with another former Evanescence member, Ben Moody. He's also co-written Celine Dion's This Time, Backstreet Boys' Something That I Already Know, several singles for Carrie Underwood, and also was a co-producer on Avril Lavigne's self-titled album. We regret the error. As of press time, we have been unable to determine whether or not the Tahoe Night Monsters' David Hodges is involved in the same weird church as Tim Tebow and Chip and Joanna Gaines. This is a developing story.
All right, we're back. And just before we came back, I took a big drink of Alexander Keith's India Pale Ale. Do you know why this is important?
Please share.
Because you went to Halifax.
I went to Halifax, the home of Alexander Keith's India Pale Ale, the pride of Nova Scotia.
I thought you were the pride of Nova Scotia, Benjamin.
No, that phrase is copyright by the brewing super company that now owns Alexander Keith's, I'm sure.
Do you think that Sidney Crosby could get that copyright overturned as the actual pride of Nova Scotia?
I think that if Sidney Crosby said, I want that, they would have to give it to him.
Yeah, I agree.
I think they'd give it to him on their knees. They would just present it to him. They'd be like, yes, of course.
But like Sidney Crosby could never ask for something for himself.
That's true. It would be outside of his personality.
I don't think he's capable of ever asking for something for him. I think he would probably have a stress panic attack over the idea of doing it.
Do you think he could ask for it for Nate?
Yeah, no, you do it for someone else.
Yeah,
he would get up there. He would say, "I would love for you to give this incredible phrase to Nate McKinnon, who is the pride of Nova Scotia." Like I'm 99% sure the reason they added Nate to all the billboards in Cole Harbour is because Sid was like, "No, you have to add Nate. He's also good as me."
They were doing too many Tim Hortons commercials around town, and he was like, "This isn't fair. Put my best friend on here."
They do film them in Cole Harbour at the Cole Harbour Tim Hortons. Yeah, like that is required in the contract.
Yeah, I believe it.
So I went home this weekend. I went to Halifax for the PWHL Takeover game, the second Takeover game at the Scotiabank Centre in downtown Halifax. Any excuse to go to Halifax and just see the Ottawa Charge, I think, is a lovely, lovely reason. And I want to say, sorry?
And eat a donair.
Yeah, well, yes. So I got there. I went and ate a donair, which is for those who don't know what it is a kebab descendant, similar to shawarma and other such things, but it's better. It's just better than shawarma in every single way. And I went to see the Mooseheads, which is the Halifax QMJHL team, who I was hoping I would get to see a random QMJHL team I haven't seen in a while, but of course they were playing the Gatineau Olympique. So
It's just so unlucky.
it's so funny. It's just, that's the team I could go see anytime. But the Mooseheads won. The Mooseheads won, and that was good. And it was my first time to get inside Scotiabank Centre. Since they've renovated it. So last time I was there, Nathan McKinnon was playing for the Mooseheads.
That was a long time ago.
Yes, it was.
It was, I think, 2013, because it would have been the year they won the Memorial Cup. I think that was 2013. So they've upgraded the seats. They added cup holders, SJ.
Oh, yeah.
Big win for the Neutral Zone Hotel.
Oh, so beautiful.
They added cup holders, brand new scoreboard, really nice scoreboard, LED, with central control all over. So all the posts around the rink have LED strips on them that they control and have integrated into the light show.
Ooh,
really
cool.
high quality food options at a very reasonable price.
Ooh, is that legal?
No. No. And it's an older building. It's 50 years old, but they've done their best to upgrade it. The washrooms were done. The entry was really easy. Yeah, it was really, other than the seats are a little small, they're really packing them in there. Basically a perfect arena, and 10,500. So obviously for the Mooseheads game, it wasn't sold out. It was probably 8,000. So 8,000 on a Saturday night for a QMJHL team is a really good number.
That is really good.
No surprise to see that when time came for the PWHL that it was completely sold out. It was they were, I think, 17 people below maximum capacity.
Wow, that's so cool.
And the first game was also a sellout.
Yep. Mm-hmm. The concourse was pretty full. It was a little tough to navigate. The washroom situations, especially for those who are using the women's washroom, a big challenge. But those are things you can figure out. Like they've done at TD Place, where they've set some washroom. They've converted some men's washrooms to women's washrooms for the game, and of course sent you through to the very cold football stadium side. But those are things you can figure out. But overall, incredible arena. The crowd was on fire. They were obviously cheering for Jill Saunier, Nova Scotia native. But otherwise, it was pretty much split between Boston and Ottawa fans. And at the end of the game, there was a few good "Go Ottawa, go" chants. And I knew they weren't coming from actual people from Ottawa, because they were chanting "Go Ottawa, go," which you do not chant. It's "Go Charge, go." That's a better chant, right?
Yeah.
It would be "Let's Go Ottawa" if you wanted to do the Ottawa chant.
There was one unfortunate event. I lost my kazoo. It fell out of my pocket. So here with you, here on the live on the Neutral Zone Hotel, I'm opening my backup kazoo.
Yay!
Yay. Kazoo.
Yay, kazoo. I'm glad that you had a backup. That was almost horrific.
It was guaranteed to be lost at some point. I am not good with small things that go into pockets.
That's fair.
I feel that.
And the game was decent. Boston was very strong. A really good team. Sandy Aula got her second start, stopped all but one of 40 shots, and then won in the shootout. Brianne Jenner with a great shot that beat Frankel clean. And people were into the game. They had Anne Murray there, the famous Canadian country music singer who is from Nova Scotia, and she got a standing ovation. She got the loudest cheer of the night that wasn't for Jill Saunier. So they continue to bring in high. So they had Rachel Reed for the first game as the guest of honor, and Anne Murray for the second. That's pretty good, I think.
Pretty darn good.
Carla had an Anne Murray shirt on during the game that she revealed at a dramatic moment.
That right?
I think it said Anne freaking Murray on the back.
It did on the back, yeah. At the Charge game at home on Friday night, it was country music night, and Carla showed up with her blazer all done up tight. And then when they were focusing on her, because as SJ knows, in TD Place Arena, if you're sitting on the bench, it's not like a normal scoreboard where it's kind of up. Because of the way the building is oriented, they have a single flat large screen in the center of sort of the overhang. And if you're sitting on the player's bench, you're looking right at it. So anytime you are on the bench and you're highlighted, everyone can see that you are on the Jumbotron. It's not something you can miss. So when they had Carla, they were showing her at one point during one of the TV timeouts, she turned to the camera and unbuttoned her blazer in the middle of country music night and opens it up, and there's a shirt with Reba McEntire's face on it.
Hell yeah.
And of course, the crowd goes nuts. And she pulls the same thing at the takeover game for Anne Murray. So I think...
Knows how to have a show-stopping moment. I love that.
She knows how to play the crowd, and they're not afraid to do it. One of my favorite things at TD Place is when they put someone's highlight up, and you can see them on the bench sometimes, grab the person and point. I don't think it's gotten old for them seeing themselves up on the big screen. It's pretty fun.
I love that.
It's such a weird arena. I love it. If you ever want to come watch a game in a very weird arena, you've only got a couple years left.
That's true.
There was an interview with Jan Heffert today where she said that Halifax has made a very strong case to get a team. They were very impressed with how the city and how Scotiabank Centre, how they approach this. Halifax has been rapidly expanding since the pandemic. So before the pandemic, Halifax was pretty stagnant. When a lot of businesses moved to work from home, a lot of people said, I'm getting out of Toronto, I'm getting out of here. I'm going to sell my house that I have a giant mortgage on, take that money and go buy the same house or better for a third of the price in Halifax or less. Now, that's had a lot of downstream effects on rental and housing prices and the impact of services. But in general, tens of thousands of young professionals have moved to Halifax in the last 6 years. And as a result, Halifax is becoming a very booming city with a lot of disposable income. So they've attracted multiple teams, the Halifax Thunderbirds in the National Lacrosse League, the Halifax Tides FC in the new Northern Super League for women's soccer. There is no doubt in my mind they want a PWHL team and that they will put 10,000 people into that building. And they will make it an extremely, extremely good city for the PWHL. So there's no doubt in my mind that the facility and that the city itself was extremely welcoming to the PWHL to try to convince them to put a team there. It's obviously Quebec City also has a really good argument if you're looking for another Eastern Canadian team. But I think Halifax is the spot. I really do. Nothing against Quebec City, but Halifax has more of a corporate base.
It's interesting. I feel like if they add 4 teams, I really feel like 3 of them are going to be in the West.
Yeah.
And there's really only room for 1 East team. And so they're going to have to pick. Is it going to be Quebec City, or is it going to be Halifax, or is it going to be Detroit?
So I was thinking about this. They don't have to do a 2-conference league. They could do 3 divisions. They could do 4, 4, and 4. So 4 out west. So that's your Denver and Edmonton, most likely. 4 in the center. That could be more like Minnesota, Chicago/Detroit, Toronto, Ottawa. And then you could do the east being Montreal, Boston, New York, and wherever. But you could move that around pretty easily. You could push for 2 teams out there, and you could make Toronto go into the center or Montreal into the center and do like a proper Atlantic division. So there are options if they want to go that route. They don't have to build up a 6-team Western division or Western Conference if they don't want to. And they could simply decide we're going to put teams in the USA we're going to keep the balance. If we're doing 2 teams in Canada, 2 teams in the United States, we could put both those teams in the East and both those American teams in the West, or like do Chicago and Denver. I think Denver's a lock. So Madison, you better start budgeting. You better start budgeting now.
I'll make it happen. I'm not worried about it.
I mean,
Who needs to eat? Just kidding. Everybody should eat, but you know what I mean. I can eat ramen.
I think, PWHL tickets, they do not break the bank.
Yeah,
How much are do you have season tickets, SJ?
I do.
How much are they?
I
Seattle and
genuinely
Denver are
don't
relatively
remember.
comparable in terms of prices for most stuff, I would say.
What did I pay? That is a great question. It has been a minute.
I'm curious if it's more or less than my DU tickets, in all honesty. I assume the Canadian ones are a little more pricey than the American ones, but...
You wait. I'm going to tell you. I know what my price is.
Well, I need to get a conversion thing up because Canadian dollars are fake to me. Just kidding. I used to get Canadian money from the Tooth Fairy when I lived in Seattle.
Really?
Yeah.
Why? Why did the Tooth Fairy do that to you?
Because my dad's a coin collector and he went to Canada all the time, and I would always be excited. I'd be like, oh, I've never seen this coin before.
This coin's got a little bronze thing in the middle.
This coin has children playing games on the back.
So my total price for 13 games in corners is $377 for one seat.
Yeah, it's not bad at all.
No.
That's awesome. I'm so excited.
All right. Okay, John. Have fun editing that. Yeah.
I actually forget where we were. We were talking about lots
Denver
of
being
stuff.
a lock for expansion
Yeah.
for the PWHL.
Yeah, I think so. I do think that Denver has to be the number one target in the United States. You've had two great takeover experiences. You're getting more this year.
Two more. I'm the poster child.
Yes, we have the little poster child for PWHL in two of the poster children, although one's not on this call. The camera loves you. What more can you say?
What a thrill.
What a thrill. I have completely lost track of what we were talking about because there was a huge intermission that I hope John cut out as we talked about ticket prices. So, folks, we're just going to move on and we're going to talk about Dean Evason. The recently unemployed Dean Evason, formerly coach of the Columbus Blue Jackets, who has now been replaced by dusty old mummy Rick Bowness.
Hey, Rick Bowness looks very spry out there.
Yeah, for
a
70 years
year-old
old.
man. I mean, he's still skating around. He's like he's 50. I'm very impressed. Yeah, I aspire to be that healthy and happy looking when I'm 70.
I saw a headline that was like, who is Rick Bowness? And I was like, if you don't know by now, I mean,
Right?
you've had so much time to know.
Yeah, I think he's been coaching in the NHL since I was born.
At least for me. Like, he's probably... Now I want to know. When...
Oh, I can answer this. I was looking this up earlier.
Please tell.
Rick Bowness's first time coaching was not in the NHL. He was a player coach for the Sherbrooke Jets in the 1982-1983 season.
Wow.
He then lost his job and he just played for them next season.
Oh, player coaches. What is this, Slapshot?
In 1980, for the 1984-1985 season, he joined the Winnipeg Jets as an assistant coach, which means he has been coaching longer than Madison. He has been alive. He has been coaching longer than SJ has been alive, and his coaching career is roughly coterminous with my entire life.
Yeah, he's been coaching since before my parents met each other.
Yeah. So like both myself and Rick Bowness's NHL coaching career are a byproduct of the 1984 NHL offseason. So he's old. but that's okay.
He's also only signed through the end of the season.
It's a very interim, we just need a guy, do you want to do a job sort of deal.
Yeah.
I doubt he wants a 3-year term.
I saw somewhere that CBJ has now had 4 coaches in like 3 years or something, or I don't remember what it was exactly, but like they have been going through it.
The carousel.
And that includes the Mike Babcock debacle.
Oh my God.
So
I forgot about that.
he has been head coach of so many teams. He actually has. So if you look at his sporting positions, quick links at the bottom of Wikipedia, they have to separate out the fact that he was head coach of the Winnipeg Jets and head coach of the original Winnipeg Jets. That is a differentiator that they have to put in.
Wow.
That's incredible. Since the 2000 and 2021 seasons, so the last 5-ish NHL seasons, they have had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 head coaches.
Woof.
That's rough.
Sorry, 6. I counted wrong for some reason because I'm stupid. John Tortorella, Brad Larson, Mike Babcock, Pascal Vincent, Dean Evason, and now Rick Bowness.
I think everybody was really surprised by this firing. There were no whispers. There was no talk. Nobody was on a podcast saying his seat was hot. But when you look at the standings, they are last in the East. And if they want to salvage the season, which Don Waddell is clear that they do, they had to do it now. There's not a big spread in points in the East. Like they really could go, on a 6-7 game run and be right back in it. That's all it takes. That's all it takes considering how packed the East is right now. So that's what they're hoping for. I saw an interview with Don Waddell where he was saying what really killed him was the third period collapses that CBJ has been going through this year. They absolutely could not defend a lead. They'd go up early and then they'd collapse in the third. And I think that if you're looking for a coach who will coach to score effects, Bowness is not a bad choice. He does know how to defend a lead. It's going to be really interesting to see what that looks like.
I wonder if I have a feeling this will kick off other coach firings, particularly in the East.
Yeah, so let's go through the list. If I just order the standings, check out the Eastern Conference. So CBJ is last. Ottawa has really been going through it. I don't think they're going to fire Green. That is so obviously a problem with goaltending. And as much as he might want to do it, Travis Green is not going to get in the net. The Rangers just hired Sullivan this year. They're not going to fire him.
No, not with his reputation.
No. The Devils and Keefe, that does make me wonder. I don't necessarily think they're going to pull the trigger on Keefe this year, but they have been quite bad. But I know that we had kind of agreed earlier that the person that really needs to go might be Tom Fitzgerald, who has been in the GM seat for quite some time. And actually, it might be a replace the GM situation.
That's where I would start.
I mean, he so royally fumbled the bag on Quinn Hughes that I can't imagine that ownership loves that.
I think you want to bring in a GM and let the new GM make the choice.
Yeah, exactly.
And that could mean Sheldon Keefe gets fired 4 days into summer if the new GM is hired 3 days into summer. And it could mean that he gives Sheldon Keefe a year or two to try to figure it out. I think the Devils have some level of space, but I think that there is work that the new GM needs to be done.
Yeah. It's going to be really interesting to me if Dougie Hamilton moves before the Olympics. I think that's kind of a soft deadline for a lot of the league.
Absolutely.
And they are absolutely trying to move him right now. They healthy scratched him. They're actively pushing him out the door. But he has a full no move. Next up, Florida. Gosh, do you think they're going to fire Paul Maurice? Because I don't think they're going to fire Paul Maurice.
No.
Then Dan Muse with Pittsburgh Penguins. This is his first year, and they've actually been quite happy.
Yeah, the Penguins were supposed to be a bottom feeder team, and they've been very much all words capitalized in the mix.
Yeah, exactly. Boston has been fine lately. They've kind of clawed their way out of the bottom. Carberry and Washington is perfectly safe. And then, and now we're getting up into the playoff teams. So that's kind of what the East looks like. If we take a look in the West, bottom of the West is Vancouver, who has a brand new coach this year. I don't think he's going anywhere.
They seem to like him despite the fact the team is miserable.
I really think that Adam Foote is a terrible coach. They should definitely fire him. But I do think they will give him the rest of the year. Maybe they reevaluate in the offseason. Who knows?
I agree with SJ on all counts.
Oh, boy. Then we've got the Jets, who are having a nightmare season. I believe this is Scott Arniel's second year. And if the Jets don't pull themselves out of the skid, they had, what was it, like a 14-game losing streak or something insane before they broke it. I really think Scott Arniel needs to be looking over his shoulder.
They may be like the first team to go from like
President's Trophy to
President's Trophy to like possibly worst in the league, or what a drop off in one season. It's insane.
I just want to be clear though. Last year, Connor Hellebuck put up a .925 save percentage, and this year he put up a .901, and he's dipped into the 800s. Yeah. So this, even if he's halfway there, this team is winning a lot more of those games.
Yeah, he's just saving it for the Olympics.
It's
saving
possible.
Saving up all those saves.
What's his save percentage? What's he saving his save percentage for?
I mean,
We'll see. We'll talk a lot about the Olympics when we get there.
Yep. Then we've got St. Louis. They're not going to fire Jim Montgomery. They moved heaven and earth to get him. And then Calgary.
A close personal friend, Jim Montgomery.
Yeah. He's still looking for Joel Hofer. Can't find him anywhere.
You can't find him. He's in the halls. Where are you?
And then we've got Ryan Huska in Calgary. I don't know what to think of Calgary, and I really don't know what to think about the Calgary front office.
I think
something has to change.
I don't think they're firing Huska.
I think they'd be perfectly happy to have him through a rebuild. And that's really what they're gearing up for, is a large scale sell-off. And then we've got Chicago. I don't remember who's coaching in Chicago now. Didn't they just replace a guy?
Yes, they brought in the Lalonde? No. Maybe?
No. Lalonde is coaching in Toronto. And
yes. Job. They brought in a former Detroit. The guy who was in Detroit before Lalonde.
Jeff Blashill.
Yes, that guy.
Oh, Blashill.
Blashill. I don't know.
Blashill.
Yeah. Anyway, I don't think he's not going anywhere. Chicago is Connor Bedard and some guys. So
that's right.
They're in a rebuild. Then we've got Quenneville and Anaheim, which is Anaheim is just such a wild team this year. They started so good, and then they just like hit December and they just like fell like a rock. They cannot defend.
They're a team of little babies.
It's interesting. Nashville has clawed itself out of the basement.
Yeah, they're back in the mix. They're only 2 points out.
Yeah. And then we've got Toronto in Utah, which I really wonder about that situation. I have no idea what they were hoping for this year.
He's only been with Utah for a season and a half, but he's held that job for like 5, and he's one of the longest tenured coaches in the league if you include his time with Arizona.
Yeah. So, and that's the same, he's had that same GM the entire time, but they do have a new owner, and that owner may have expectations for them to be a playoff team this year. It's not clear to me what Ryan Qualtrics is really looking for them.
You call him Ryan Qualtrics?
I did.
I was like, literally, I had a moment. I was like, what? What just happened?
I don't remember his last name. I just remember he's the Qualtrics guy.
No, I think it's great. That's what I'm going to call him from now on, too.
Excellent. It is so clarifying. And then we get to LA, and we're up in, LA is technically a playoff team right now, but I still think they're quite underperforming as a playoff team. LA is supposed to be a contender this year. I think they're a playoff team. I don't think they're a contender.
They're underperforming expectations.
They cannot score goals even more than Seattle can't score goals. Like, Seattle really can't freaking score goals, and LA is somehow worse at it than them.
LA is so 200 hockey men pilled that I don't think they'll fire their coach, but
my God. They are
very frustrating to watch that team make any decisions.
Oh.
So just for fun, I've gone back to the 2021-22 season, and I'm just going to touch base. Who do you think was the first coach fired in 21-22?
Wasn't it Jim Montgomery?
No.
Oh, no, this is a few years back. Sorry.
A few years back. So it was Jeremy Colleton got fired from Chicago on November 6th. And if you recall, this was a slightly late season start. So less than a month into the season, he got fired. Started the season 1-9-2.
Yeah, I think everybody's been kind of surprised how long it's taken for a coach to be fired this year.
I think it's a symptom of everything being so mushy.
Yeah, everything. There are not a lot of the distribution. The point distribution across the league is very dense right now, with the notable exception of Colorado, which is blowing everybody out of the water.
The goals Georg of the league, truly.
The 2022-23 season, the first and only coach fired in season was Bruce Boudreau, January 22nd, 2023.
Oh, that's quite late.
Quite late. 23-24, Jay Woodcroft fired November 12th.
Oh, brutal.
Yeah,
I remember.
3-9-1 start. And then last year, I believe it was Jim Montgomery. Yep, Jim Montgomery fired November 12th.
Yeah.
So quite the difference. Only one season in the last few where it's been that late. So really fascinating. Mm-hmm. I'm curious to see how many coaches go. I'm really curious.
Yeah, it feels like so much of the league this year is the coaches are so new that there's almost like some artificial stability there. But we've definitely seen plenty of teams boot people out the door after only 1 year. So the Kraken have done it. Oh, the Dan Bilesma experiment was such a disaster.
I don't blame them for trying it, but I mean,
Yeah.
the Seattle Kraken, I think, are a team that is greater than the sum of their parts this year. So take it while you can.
Yeah. I think they are benefiting from some decent coaching, but they still can't score goals. Unless, for some reason, we've just completely unlocked Berkeley Catton in the last 4 games, and he is going to finish the year with the most goals on the team. I would not be shocked if it happened. All of my hopes and dreams rest on that very, very young man's shoulders. It's true.
Who do you think is the next coach fired? Let's just very quickly. What's your call?
Jim Quiller.
Very good.
Come on. You got to pick somebody, Madison.
I think I was trying to think of someone else, but I also think Jim Hiller. So
You're allowed to say Jim Hiller.
That's
You're allowed to say.
my boring choice as well.
Very good. I'm going to continue to say Craig Berube. I'm going to manifest it.
They're back in a playoff
Summoning
spot.
circle.
I choose to believe that this is fake and that Austin Matthews is going to go back to being lazy and they're going to end up falling off a cliff again, and then they're going to have to pull the trigger to try to save the
Austin
season.
Matthews can't be lazy until after the Olympics. Thank you.
They threw Mark Savard on a bonfire in Toronto, and they danced around, and they got really drunk, and then the curse was broken, and they're fixed now.
Are you saying that they did human sacrifice in order to save their season?
I
simply wouldn't put it
am
past
saying
them.
that, yes.
Madison, can you confirm this is a service that Etsy Witches offer? Because I feel
Etsy
that's where you
witches
go.
do not offer human sacrifice.
So they had to get us. They had to actually pay top price.
Not
Yes,
on
they-
Etsy.
not on
off,
Etsy.
Off
Yes.
platform.
Do we
I'm not saying
have?
witches don't offer it. Just definitely not the Etsy ones.
Do we have dark web witches here? Is that what we've done?
I wouldn't know about them, but like I'd be shocked if they don't exist.
Sure you wouldn't. Sure you wouldn't. I believe you. All right, folks, I think that's going to do it for us. So thanks so much for tuning into the Neutral Zone Hotel, which is written, produced, and edited and all that shit by the Neutral Zone Hotel crew. You can find us at neutralzonehotel.com/Discord to join our Discord. We are on Bluesky at Neutral Zone Hotel. If you're having a great time, thumbs up, 5 stars on a podcast platform of your choice. And we'll see you for another stay again soon.